Hola, amigos, and welcome to another segment of Red Pill Bikers Beer Clock Biker Talk. There is an old saying, and I imagine it's said in many different ways throughout various cultures and various times, but the old saying goes something like this: listen to your elders. Listen to your elders. And you know what? That's not really a bad idea, especially if you're trying to learn how to do mechanical work on your car. Listen to an old mechanic. If you're trying to figure out how to invest and become a little bit wealthier, listen to an old dude who has been successful financially. These are good ideas, but I'm here to tell you sometimes that's not enough, because people will not always tell you the truth, and it's not because they're just liars. I'm talking about people like your dad, your uncles, uh, older friends, things of this nature. They're not going to lie to you because they're liars. They're lying to you because they don't know the truth. And they've convinced themselves, but that reality isn't always reality, that it's something else, and they can make up their own reality. So I'm here to say, listen to your elders, but even more importantly, observe your elders. See, in my day, it was just expected. You grew up, you learned a skill, you went to college, you joined the military, whatever, and then you got married and you raised babies, and everybody would tell you you're happier and more fulfilled and all this other stuff. And there's probably some truth to the fulfillment part, but here's where you got to do the observation. If you go up to somebody who's been married 30, 40 years and ask them if they're happily married, they're probably going to tell you, yeah, because they've used it, as I did, as a mantra for decades to convince themselves that they're happy. And what they really are is they'd rather just be with the devil they know than try something new. They're just like, I don't want change. This is the easiest way to get through life. Or the famous, it's cheaper to keep her. So I'm saying, observe them. Watch the older people in your lives, especially those older married men. And there's usually a few red flags that'll tell you whether or not they're a happily married guy. It may involve something like he's got a lovely home, but his big screen TV and his couch are out in the garage. And that's where he spends all his time. Spent $200,000, $300,000 on a beautiful house, but he's sitting in a garage on an old couch with a big screen TV. Why? Because it's a happier place to be. Not a great sign of a really happy marriage. Or the whole man cave thing, or he's built a shed in the backyard and he never comes inside. Now, maybe he's into a hobby or a craft. I don't know. But there's usually a reason the guy's gone as much as he possibly can be. Or if he takes extended business trips, things of this nature. Or the guy says, I work 12, 14 hours a day at work. Well, the reason he's at work 12 or 14 hours a day is not just to get ahead, it's he doesn't want to go home. So these are the kind of things you observe. Now, we already know that 50% of all marriages end in divorce. So right off the bat, it's easy to say, hey, 50% of marriages aren't happy. Okay, but other studies go on to show that of those who are married, only about 20% are truly happy. And I think it's closer to 15 or 14%. But let's say 20 just to be on the conservative side. Now, this isn't 20% of all marriages. This is 20% of marriages that don't end in divorce. So there's a huge amount of people out there, both men and women, who are married unhappily. Guys, marriage is not what it used to be, and maybe marriage never was what we thought it was. And right now, I can't think of any good reason to get married, especially when you get my age. Really, if you get over 40, tell me what the benefit of getting married is. Now, when you're younger, you might argue, well, it's to have kids and some kind of stability and legal security over that. But if you're 40 and you're divorced, why would you get remarried? If you're 50 and divorced, why would you get married? If you're 60, 70, 80 years old and divorced or widowed, why would you get married? What is the benefit to it? Now, I've heard people say, well, it's because that's what the church wants. Religion says we must be married. And I'm like, you're on your fourth husband. You're on your third wife. Come on now. There comes a time when you just got to say, it doesn't work anymore. Back in the olden days, when the lifespan was 30 to 40, 50 years on the outside, maybe you getting married for life made sense. You got married young, you made babies young, because the man was probably going to go off and get trampled by a mammoth or get killed in a war or fall off a cliff doing something. So you got it done quick. And then even if you lived a longer life, you were dead 45 years old and you're out of the deal. Well, we don't live to be 45 anymore. The average lifespan is 76, 78 years now. So here you are, 22 years old, making a commitment for another old person down the road. You have no idea who she's going to be. You have no idea who you're going to be, not just in 50 years. You don't know who you're going to be in 5 years. Hell, you don't know what you're going to be in a week. It doesn't really make any sense, guys. Here's what I do know. People get married, they do build up their assets, and then they lose half their assets. Or more. There is no rational sense. So here, older people are going to say they're happily married. Why? Because that's what they've been trained to say. And I'm saying don't just listen to your elders. I'm saying observe your elders. See if it's really the truth. You know why? Because life is hard. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Keep it real, guys. Adios.